Hi everyone, it's me Giovanni, and okay, so this video is gonna be about Five Nights at Freddy's again, sort of, but basically, so I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I also love the fan games, even though I never played them. I do like the stories though. One of them being Five Nights at Maggie's. Now, the classic series by Manuel Gennaro, I will say that the first, second, and fourth games were good regarding gameplay and story, but the third one, I didn't like it that much. Also, in the second game, the animatronics that are withered, they're in this museum, which was a choice. And similar to like Five Nights at Candy's 2, taking place in a factory, and similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, taking place in Fazbear's Frights, where you're dealing with withered animatronics, but in the original FNAF 3, you're dealing with Springtrap, who was William Afton, and Phantom animatronics, and at the end of the story, at the end of the game, the place burns down. I don't know why. I don't know why some sequels to Five Nights at Freddy's fan games just so happen to, like, have a building be set on fire. I mean, I guess that's one way to get rid of, something. But, yeah, I don't know. There was a classic revival of Five Nights at Maggie's that I didn't even know about. It was made by Scroll, who I just subscribed to, and I actually think that the classic revival is way much better than the classic original, because the animatronics actually look like animatronics in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, unlike the original where they looked a little odd. And at least the good news is all of the animatronic characters from the first and second Five Nights at Maggie's are in the classic revival, so that's good. I have added more videos to my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's and fan game media playlist, including about the classic revival, gameplay by Indie Fuel. The main reason why I wanted to talk about this was because of I'm still in a bit of a dilemma about this. Now, this is the Schmidt family. Mike, Mary, Quinzel, my character, and Marilyn. Mike Schmidt being, of course, Michael Afton from the Five Nights at Freddy's series, Mary Schmidt from Five Nights at Candy's, with her daughter Marilyn, and Quinzel being my original character, who is Mary and Mike's daughter and Marilyn's older sister. Now, I thought of this idea instead of like a usual Five Nights at Freddy's game. Instead, the story involving the Schmidt family, like a game-like story, would be mostly involving a mini game type game story, instead of just being usual Five Nights at Freddy's, where you have to spend 5 nights at some building, either a pizzeria, abandoned factory, or maybe a house. But no, instead, it would be about a family who is doing okay in their lives. Now, the main plot involving the story involving this family would first be about Michael suffering nightmares relating to FNAF 4, but also Michael making animatronics for his daughter's idea of making her own animatronic band called Wally the Wolf and Friends. And now, I'm just going to say this. If Mary Schmidt was part of the official FNAF universe, she would be just a little bit different from her Five Nights at Candy's counterpart. I'm just saying. I have thought about this for quite a while, but let's just say it was mainly due to someone who I have encountered in the past and who I do not want to talk about. Because their attitude towards the Mary and Mike Schmidt ship was not cool. And I was incredibly offended by it. Just because it's non-canon and because Mary's last name is retconned to be coincidence doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to ship Mary Schmidt with Michael Afton. Because a few other people also think the same thing as I do, so it's not really like I'm alone and defeated about my personal tastes involving certain characters. Now, canonically in Five Nights at Candy's, Mary was a little girl in the 1960s, probably being born around the 1950s, 1955 specifically, making her 6 years old in 1961 and around 32 years old in 1987. Meanwhile, Michael would be a teenager around 16 years old in 1983 when he accidentally kills his brother. Michael being born around 1967, and Michael being around 20 years old in 1987. So Mary and Mike would have a 12-year age gap. I have already discussed about the age gap before, and I do not want to say it again, but basically they would both be adults, and they would both not be pedophiles. They both suffered through trauma, and they would probably both be happy together. I would allow it. But if Mary was in the official FNAF universe, I would obviously want to get rid of the huge age gap. Obviously. And change up Mary's wardrobe just a bit. Just a bit. Her story would be the same, except with a minor differences. With the killer, the puppeteer, accidentally killing the employees, and Mary witnessing the murders, of course, from playing a game of hide and seek. And then the puppeteer notices Mary hiding and says to her, "You're okay. I won't hurt you. Just pretend that this never happened." But then again, Mary is absolutely traumatized that she wouldn't even say anything at first, but then she would. But then her heart is in the right place. She knows that it was probably an accident. So the puppeteer would still be sent to jail, but when he's released, he and Mary sort of reconciled and they become friends. And she also invites him to her wedding, where she and Michael Afton, get married. Canonically, Quinzel, my character, would be born in 1989 on July 4th, and Marilyn would be born a day and year later, on July 5th, 1990. The main story would take place in 2005, where Quinzel would be 16 and Marilyn would be 15. I don't know what else to say except the main reason why I'm thinking of a minigame-based game story is mostly because of Emil Mako and Manuel Gennaro's art style involving the minigames, and I think that they're really good. However, scroll some Five Nights at Maggie's classic revival involved the Five Nights at Maggie's classic 3 classic minigame art style, which I don't mind. It's still good, but the only time that you can see the minigame like art style is from the 6/9, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. I would mainly think of a minigame-based story game involving the Schmidt family, if that was even possible. But anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or not. Please stay safe, stay at home, stay away from protests in segregated areas. Bye.